Okay, so
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. All three engines up and burning. 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Coach on Fire Radio.
I am the tiger, dancing through the fire. I am a champion, and you're gonna hear me roar.
hello and welcome to Money Rockstars. I am Michelle Cooper, your host and leader in this journey about money, mindset, and all the things that go into that. And I am super excited to welcome today Cindy Van Arnam, who is the Get Shit Done girl. Welcome, Cindy.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
I know, isn't it fun? I'm like,
Totally.
This is the best thing ever.
Right?
So I refer to you as the Get Shit Done girl. So tell us a little bit about you and why you're called the Get Shit Done girl.
Absolutely. Well, I started out as a virtual assistant a couple of years ago and quickly found myself mired in overwhelm and chaos and realized that the only way to get shit done is to create systems for yourself that set you free.
Set you free. That
Yes.
is good, right? Because
Yes.
every single entrepreneur gets into business for some kind of freedom, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason why entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs.
Right? Or the fact that they can't hold down a job working for somebody else, maybe.
That's because they need freedom.
Totally. That is totally why. So, so tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do, what's your favorite thing to do in your free time. Let's find out the deets on Cindy.
Sure, absolutely. So I live in the stunning Okanagan Valley in Penticton, British Columbia. I hibernate in the winter, and I spend my summertime on the patio or golfing or floating down the channel or, anything that involves outdoor activities. As I said, I started out as a virtual assistant, but I am now a accountability coach for business owners.
Very good. And business owners need accountability because they tend to get sidetracked, right?
Just a smidge. I see a lot of shiny object syndrome with my clients.
Right? It's like, oh, that's boring now. I want to do something else.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Awesome. So if people kind of jiving on you and they want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Sure. Well, I made it really easy to stalk me. So I am found all over Facebook and Instagram as Cindy Van Arnam. And my website is cindyvanarnam.com.
Awesome. That's good. So cindyvanarnam.com is the place to go if you want to hook up with Cindy and get shit done, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we're going to jam on here a little bit about money, keeping it simple, your story, and give a couple of business tips for people so that they can keep it simple for themselves and create abundance in their life and business, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So give me your 3 top things about, your 3 top reasons or tips, tricks, that kind of thing about how to make your business more profitable.
Okay, so number 1, keep it simple at all times.
Right?
Yeah, just stop. You don't need to do all the things. No, nobody's capable of doing all the things, so just stop
all
it.
the things?
Oh my dear Lord, 6 social media channels and blogging and YouTube and videos and Facebook Lives and
Right.
I mean, we could go on and on and on. There's membership platforms and all the things. It's too much. And unless you have a giant team behind you, and even that can be challenging. So if you are a solopreneur or you have a very small team, the whole point is to be extremely focused on 1 or 2 areas where you can excel and leave the rest of the shit behind because you don't need to do what everybody else is doing.
That's what I love.
Yes.
Right? Like,
Yes.
I love the lean business model. Like,
Right?
if I put my little accountant hat on, I'm always thinking, like, how can we lean out your operations even more? Like,
Absolutely.
do you need all this stuff? And sometimes, like, thinking you have to have all the things and do all the things ends up like you do none of the things then.
Yeah, that's usually what I see. Another thing to do is to pull up your big girl panties or big boy pants, whichever.
Nice. Yeah.
And just make sure that you're actually taking responsibility for what you're doing in your business. You can pretend that you're doing all the things that you're supposed to be doing, but if you're not in alignment and doing the things that are actually a fit for your own business instead of comparing yourself to everybody else, then you're never going to actually succeed, or even if it looks like success, you'll be miserable. So it's a fine balance, definitely, but definitely adulting in business and looking at the certain things that you've got going on. So again, this comes back to the minimalistic approach. And I had a client who spent $36,000 in 18 months on software tools that she had never even logged into.
Oh my God.
Because she thought she needed them and she never used them.
Right. Yeah.
Take responsibility.
Yeah, like that's just crazy, right? So when I'm talking to clients, or people or whatever, I always say, like, that's being the CEO of your business, right? Like, sit in that CEO role and consciously spend your money. Consciously
Yes.
create the momentum in your business through the tools that you need. And what do people do if they're like, I don't know, I think I got too much stuff. Like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. What do they do?
Well, you need to take a really clear look at what you've got going on, what you're doing, put a strategy in place, and then just cut that shit out of your business. You don't need it, don't use it.
Right.
So, and forgive yourself. It's
Forgive
okay.
yourself. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. You know what? Especially if you're working in the online world, you'll get thrown a whole bunch of stuff at you, right? Like, you need this and this and this and this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not tech friendly, it can get really overwhelming really fast.
Are
If
you
you're
talking to
not,
me in particular?
Yes, I am. If you're not tech friendly, for the love of God, hire a virtual assistant, get some help, join an accountability group, do something where you can get some support to help you keep those big girl panties up.
Right? Oh my God. And what's number 3?
Number 3 is money dates, girl.
Oh, money dates.
Yes. Life changing.
Tell us a little bit about your money story, Cindy.
Oh, dear Lord. Okay.
Take a big deep breath.
No, I'm good. I can tell this story now.
Right.
A year and a half ago, couldn't tell it without bawling my eyes out. So I met Michelle at an event about, I guess it was a year and a half ago now. And I thought I was joining a workshop about how to manage money. How wrong was I? Did not realize this was going to turn into a complete emotional breakdown to the point where I was bawling uncontrollably.
Right.
And I mean, even you, Michelle, you didn't really know what to do with me at that point. And we had to get help from outside and like, oh my God, just calm her down. It was really bad. And what I realized was that I had this lifelong shame from borrowing money from my mother. Because my mom had money, and every time I needed money in my life, I would just go to mommy and say, can you help me out? And she would bail me out every time. Right. And I didn't realize, I just thought it was fine until you stirred up some emotion in me, and I realized, not so fine. Mm-hmm. And after that, I dove into your Money Rockstars beta program and started really diving into that money shame and that guilt and started forgiving myself.
Right.
which was huge. And in the last year, my bank account has thanked me I don't know how many times, because now I do a money date every single week without fail, and I have only missed one in the last year, and I ended up catching up on it because I realized how important it was. I hardly ever worry about money anymore. I have not borrowed money from my mom in months.
Nice.
And I am working on a repayment plan for my mother.
So good. Like, how
Oh.
empowering is that?
Oh my god, it feels so good. I'm like covered in goosebumps right now.
Yeah, so like, you know, I met Cindy, well, I already knew Cindy, but we happened to be at an event together, and, you know, it was just a little breakout session, so it was, you know, kind of like a little mini class on the sacred flow of money and how we fuck it all up, basically, by sitting in the shame of our past mistakes and the generational stories that we carry around like a backpack, right? And it weighs us down. And so, you know, it is an emotional response because money is emotional. Like, you can't get away from that.
Nope.
So, of course, you would have an emotional response. So it was a great learning experience for me. You know, I always tell you that, right? Like, I realized how powerful this work is. And watching you grow and share your story with other people as inspiration, like, it proved to me the ripple effect of the work that all of us do in different areas of, you know, the world kind of thing, and in different aspects, right? Because by helping one person, then you end up helping a gazillion people.
Absolutely. And I mean, that's one of my biggest values is impact and that ripple effect that can occur from just one slight shift.
Right?
Yeah. It's huge.
So tell us a little bit about like a money date. What does that look like to you? Like, it sounds pretty, I know what it is, but I'm sure there's other people who don't. Like, what happens? What do you do?
Absolutely. Okay, so I have chosen to do my money date every Monday morning because this, for me, sets up my week in a way where I know my bills are paid. I know what money is coming in. I don't have to worry about my bank account and check it every hour to make sure everything is good. Right. And it sets me up in gratitude. So I sit down and it's like you're going on a date for the first time. And it's a relationship. It's not just, no, I'm going to look at my bank accounts. It's, no, I get excited about it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to like play with my oils and my crystals. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to date my money.
Absolutely.
Yes. So that to me is really important. And then I go through my balances and I check how much money I have and what money's coming in, what money needs to go out that week, what money is owed, different action steps that I can take in order to bring more money in and release more money as well. And just to make sure that flow is still happening, that's the thing with money is that it's such an energetic flow that if you're hoarding it all to yourself, it's going to be really hard to bring more in. And if you're spending it all and not bringing any in, it gets challenging as well. So it needs to be that give and take relationship. And then I sit in gratitude, no matter what's going on, whether my bank account's low or I'm having troubles paying a bill, I still sit in gratitude. And every time I pay that phone bill now, I get excited. Right? Because it means I get to talk to people.
Yeah, like, and so this is something that that I find really funny, right? Because we get kind of like this conditioning through media that we're always looking to like lower the phone bill, pay less for food, like all of this kind of thing, right? And that really is fear, scarcity, and lack, right?
Absolutely.
So I don't want, like, no one wants to overpay for things, but, you know, how about paying a fair amount for a fair service or a fair product or, you know, something like that, right?
Absolutely. And the amount of time I spend on my smartphone, I mean, my bill is like nothing.
I know, right? I'm like, the minute I changed even just my phone bill, because I have like 3 teenagers who are on their phone, like, you know, constantly. Like, I'm thinking it should be embedded in their arm or something.